January webinar where we will be looking at career exploration, supporting Kentucky students as they find their future. We are so glad that you are joining us today. And as we are welcoming our guests, we would like for you in the chat to please let us know your name, your title, the school or organization you are representing, and then what is something you do in the mornings to start your day off right. So maybe it's having that cup of coffee, maybe it's having a 10-minute meditation, or in my case, having that Diet Mountain Dew that's not good for you. But in the chat, if you will just let us know something that you do to start your day off right. And as we give our guest a little time to join, I will tell you that if you will stay through the end and complete the survey or the evaluation on the end of our webinar, that is how you will receive your ELA or Frisk credit. So I will give you a little bit more details about that at the end of our time together. But we, again, are glad to have you with us. And as we work through our webinar today, we will do a brief overview of the Kentucky Advising Academy. We will introduce our panel of guests who will speak to you about the ways that they are supporting students in career exploration at their school. And then you will hear from Jessica Fletcher with KAA Stats as she introduces a newly launched career exploration website to help Kentucky students find their future. We will also share some additional Kentucky Advising Academy resources, talk to you about how you can stay connected with KAA, and then give you time for that evaluation. We will have Q&A time after our information is presented, but remember, this is your time and we want you all to get the answers to the questions that you all have. So if at any time during today's session you have a question, please feel free to drop that in the chat. Kelly will be monitoring the chat, and if it's something that is super time sensitive that needs an immediate answer while someone is speaking, we will get that taken care of. But if not, we will hold those till the end. If we do run out of time before we get all questions answered, we will capture those questions, send those to our guests in an email, and get those answered and get those back out to you in a follow-up email. So just as a reminder, if you are joining us for the first time, the Kentucky Advising Academy exists to support those serving in advising roles as they help students transition from high school to their desired career. So whether that's a 4-year university, a 2-year program, a certification program, the workforce or military, it is designed, we are designed to provide educators serving in advising roles with the resources they need to support students in a seamless transition. So it's really great to see so many secondary and post-secondary folks joining us today. We value the collaboration and the partnerships that you all have, and we look forward to highlighting some of the things being done across our state today. So I want to introduce our guests, and I'm going to stop sharing so that we can pin our panel guest to the screen and you all will be able to see them. But first, I'd like to introduce Whitney Choate. Whitney Choate is with Hart County High School, and Whitney has served as the college and career coach at Hart County High School since 2019. Prior to her current role, she taught high school math, and she serves on the South Central Workforce Development Board, the Hart County Chamber Board, and the Central Kentucky Community Foundation Board. Serving on all these boards have strengthened her relationships within her community to help better serve Hart County students. And Kelly, are you able to pin them?
They should be pinned.
Okay. It's not showing up, so I wanted to make sure. All right. Next, we have Alicia Jones. Alicia is representing the Everybody Counts initiative. She is a highly skilled training coordinator for the Kentucky Education and Labor Cabinet, bringing over 15 years of expertise in career services, mental health and wellness, and leadership development. Alicia specializes in leadership development and implementation, training design and facilitation, and personalized career coaching that empowers individuals to achieve their goals. She has been an integral leader in nonprofit spaces, serving on multiple boards and making significant contributions to community-based programs. As the Human Resource Director for the National Black MBA Association's Leaders of Tomorrow program, she played a critical role in mentoring high school students in leadership, financial literacy, and career skills. And last but not least, we have Sandra Hancock. And Sandra is the Student Transition Coordinator for Christian County Public Schools. She began her career as a business education teacher in 1997 and spent the majority of her career as a business teacher, spent the majority of her career in career and technical education. In addition to teaching business, Sandra has served as the dual credit instructor, a college and career coach, just to name a couple of the roles that she's had. In her current role, Sandra is vital in the district's efforts to ensure students successfully transition through each level of school and graduate high school with the credentials, the educational background, and the work ethic needed to be successful in post-secondary endeavors. She coordinates efforts between the schools, the local businesses, and post-secondary institutions to provide better opportunities for Christian County Public School students to graduate college and career ready. So excited to have these ladies with us today. And we have a few questions that we are going to ask them, and then we will allow you all to ask questions as well. So our first question, I'm going to start with Sandra. And I will point out that Sandra does have to hop off this call a little early. So if you have questions specifically for Sandra, you please drop those in the chat and we will be sure to get those to her. But Sandra, I know that Christian County School District is unique because you are consolidating Christian County High School, Hopkinsville High School, and Gateway Academy, and you all are moving to an academy model in 2026. So can you tell me a little bit about what the academy model will look like and how it will support career exploration for all students?
Absolutely, Mitzi. In order to do that, I feel like I need to give you just a little bit of background with Christian County Public Schools. About 3 or 4 years ago, we realized that, well, we didn't just realize it, but our high schools were aging, and we had to determine what we were going to do because it was going to be difficult to build 2 high schools in a short period of time. And what our students were telling us is that they were interested in career and technical education because over the last 5 years, our enrollment in our Career and Technical Ed Center had just flourished. And we actually have more students that are attending our Career and Technical Education Center than we do enrolled in either one of our high schools. And both of our high schools actually transport students to and from the Career and Tech Center on a daily basis. So that was speaking volumes to the administrators of Christian County Public Schools. So that was the reason why we decided to merge or figure out ways to merge all 3 high schools. And in trying to come up with our final solution, someone told us to go to visit the academies of Lexington. And we did, and they connected us with Ford Next Generation Learning. And Ford Next Generation Learning actually helps schools move into the academy model. And once we met with Ford NGL, we realized that that would be a perfect solution for our district. So with all of that being said, now let me tell you about what an academy model is all about. It actually structures high schools into small learning communities, which are referred to as academies, and each are centered around specific career pathways or career program areas. It is designed to provide students with a more focused and personalized education experience that aligns to their interest as it relates to their careers. With the career model, we will actually have, or excuse me, with the academy model, we will actually have 4 different academies. One is our freshman academy, and then we will have 3 academy themed academies. There will also be interdisciplinary learning within each of the 3 career academies, where we will have English, math, social studies, and science housed in those academies. And when they are able to weave in career-specific learning into the core content areas, they will be able to do that, which in turn allows students to understand the relevance of the core content areas as it relates to their career interests. We will also have what we call guaranteed learning experiences, and that's where we will have learning experiences designed for each of our 4 grades: freshmen, sophomore, juniors, and seniors. And just to give you an example of what that's about, we have already started Freshman Academy. This is our 3rd year in the Freshman Academy model, and each of our high schools have a Freshman Academy. As a part of the Freshman Academy, we have 4 guaranteed learning experiences for our freshmen. One is Jump Start, which is an orientation to high school that happens before school starts in the fall. The second one is a commitment to graduation, where we have a guest speaker from the community to come in, speak to our freshmen, and we always ask them to weave in our profile of a graduate competencies into their speeches, if at all possible. The students that day take an oath that they will graduate within 4 years. And then all of our freshmen, our 3rd guaranteed learning experience is a freshman seminar. All of our freshmen are required to take freshman seminar, which encourages them to adopt skills that will help them be successful in high school. And we also have career exploration that is weaved into our freshman seminar. And then the last thing is our Career Expo. And our Career Expo is a time where our community comes in and interacts with our students, and they get to explore a little bit more about careers that particular day.
Forgot to unmute myself.
No, that's
You all have a lot of things going on, and I actually had the opportunity to visit your Career Expo just a couple of weeks ago. And I know that this event is particularly for freshmen, and you also have an event for seniors. So I know you just gave like a high level overview, but could you give some more specifics about your career expo specifically, and maybe the senior career job fair Ignite?
sure.
I know it encompasses a lot, but get a little bit more into the weeds, Sandra, about some of those events, in case there's folks on the call that are looking to maybe try to do something similar in their district.
Sure, I'll be glad to. I'll start with our Career Expo, and I would be, I want to give a shout out to the Academies of Lexington, because they allowed us to come and visit them a couple of years ago when they did their Career Expo, because we had heard about a career expo, but had absolutely no idea what to anticipate or even how to begin planning. So we went to see theirs. It typically takes place in January at Rupp Arena, and they were kind enough to give us all kinds of tips and tricks about how to plan ours. So it takes several months to plan, but this current year we had between 65 and 75 different booths set up at our career expo. And the way we designed it is that we set it up into kind of divided it out into our career academies. So we have three career academies that will be moving into the new high school. One is agriculture and skilled trades. The other one is the Academy of Engineering, Manufacturing, and Business. And then the third one is the Academy of Health and Community Services. So we wanted our freshmen to be able to anticipate what types of careers would are connected to each one of those academies. So that's the reason why we separated our career expo into those three sections. With that, we had approximately 5 different zones because we wanted to make sure that we narrowed our students down to smaller groups where they would be able to really interact with our community members. So we had about 65 different business, industry, and post-secondary partners that agreed to set up a booth and bring demonstrations, presentations, and just hands-on activities to interact with our students. We had anything from the helicopter from Austin Peay State University was pulled into our exhibit hall. We had the huge sewage trucks that were pulled in, and the employers were able to explain, excuse me, the employees were able to explain to the students exactly what they did with those trucks, how they operated. We had tractors where students were having to diagnose what the problems were with the tractors. We had Health Force Kentucky that had their health science lab set up so students could interact with the mannequins and the various things that went on. We had industry represented, we had Murray State and Hopkinsville Community College represented, all doing things to help students have a better understanding of the different careers that are out there. And many people may say, why on earth would you plan it the end of January when you're dealing with all the weather, the snow and all the things? And at times I wondered myself because I was a bit worried the week prior. I prayed a lot for us not to have any snow. But the reason why we design it that way is because our freshmen are getting ready to plan their schedule for the upcoming school year. And we want to make sure that they have an informed decision, or excuse me, they're able to make an informed decision on the courses that they are going to take as it relates to their career pathways. We allow our freshmen to explore one career pathway during their freshman year, but moving into their sophomore year, if they want to switch pathways, they're able to do so. So just to give you an idea, last year, the 24-25, the 23-24 school year was our first career expo. We had our students complete a post survey after that expo, and 27.1% of our freshmen said that they were changing their career major based on something that they learned at the career expo. And to me, that's a win. If we are able to educate our students to make more informed decisions on careers moving forward. I feel like we've helped as it relates to decisions that they're going to make post-secondary. Whether that looks like they're moving into the right career or preventing them from moving into the wrong career and helping them to save time and money down the road. So that's a little bit about our career expo. The good thing is it gets community involved, and it's exciting, first of all, to see our community interacting with our students, but it's also exciting to see our community talking about what their neighbor brought to the Career Expo and what they're going to do next year to try to one up the others. So that was a pretty exciting experience. And then, as Mitzi mentioned, what we're doing with our upperclassmen, our seniors have the opportunity, obviously, to participate in work-based learning and dual credit, but there's also an initiative that was created by our Economic Development Council and our Workforce Board in partnership with Christian County Schools, Trigg County Schools, and Todd County Schools. And that is our Ignite program. For our students that are planning on going straight into the workforce, our Ignite program has created industry tours and guest speaker, kind of a guest speaker rotation from business and industry in our region. And so about once every month, we have an industry tour for our seniors that are planning on going out into the workforce. And that gives them an opportunity to get out into industry to see what manufacturing is all about, because some students have the misconception that it's a hot place to work and it's dirty, and that's not the case at all. And we're trying to prevent those misconceptions. At the end of the year, typically the first week of May, we have an Ignite job fair, and that's where our industry comes in. They set up a booth, they interact with our students. Our students take their resumes, they dress appropriately, and we even have situations where the business will interview the students there on site. There are rooms set up for students to be interviewed. So that's just something that our community has done for us, and it has been absolutely phenomenal.
That's awesome. And I love the fact that you're supporting students in multiple pathways and multiple post-secondary journeys. So I had an opportunity, like I said, to be at the expo, and it was awesome. I loved all the hands-on. Really appreciate that opportunity and all the things that you all are doing. So if you have questions for Sandra, be sure to drop those in the chat as she does have to hop off. But I'm sure she would be happy for you to reach out to her if you're looking to replicate some of those things in your district. Next, I want to move to Alicia. And Alicia, you work with Everybody Counts. Thank you, Sandra, too, by the way. You work with Everybody Counts. So you're not just supporting one district, but you're supporting several districts.
Absolutely.
So first of all, can you just give us just a really quick background about what Everybody Counts is for those who might not be familiar with it, and then we'll talk about some of the things that you all are doing.
Absolutely. So I have the amazing opportunity to be the training and development coordinator for Everybody Counts. And Everybody Counts is an initiative that Governor Andy Beshear created to implement the success of every Kentuckiana high school senior after high school. So whether it is post-secondary success or post-secondary education, or going straight into a career or a line vocational trade, we have in play with this initiative college and career coaches that work in 5 different counties, and those 5 counties are Jefferson County, Shelby, Franklin, Fayette, and Scott County. And where we have served alone this year close to 3,000 students ensuring that they have a pathway after high school. Pardon me, I've been having the coughs all morning. My apologies. Yes, so we ensure that students have a pathway after high school. So whether that is whether that is ensuring that they are job ready, understanding how to do the FAFSA, or connecting them with the necessary resources right now for anything that they have identified as a right now barrier. We assist with that. So one of the great things about us, my apologies. One of the great things about us is that we actually got the opportunity to work with pre-ed students as well. So for those of you who do not know what those of you all who are not aware what pre-eds is, pre-employment transition services. So we work with students that have IEPs as well as 504 students. So with that demographic, we are actually able to work with juniors and seniors in the schools of those particular districts. We utilize so many out of the box things to help our students find what it is that they are wanting to do when it comes to career exploration. We utilize virtual reality where our students that want to pursue a medical career can do a whole open knee transplant in virtual reality to see if this is what I really want to do. Or, hey, I want to go into construction. So they are actually up high for a lot of stories, looking down, being able to see if this is something that they really want to do. Another thing that I love that we did in Jefferson County is we partnered with an organization, and every year at our Fern Creek High School location, we house a Shark Tank where students come in, they talk about a specific area or barrier that is keeping them that they notice in their school community, and we have people from the community pillars come and judge them. They get mentorship, they have the opportunity to get a scholarship. So we are very out of the box and intentional when it comes to our students. Another thing that we are doing with our pre-ed students is we're very intentional with our CWTPs in ensuring that their outreach coordinators actually come to the school to see the students that we're working with. We actually just proposed to be a sponsor for a sensory room for one of our high schools in Jefferson counties as well, to ensure that all students, despite their differences when it comes to learning or needing assistance, have what it is that they need. Another one thing that I would love to highlight is in one of our other counties, we actually have an etiquette challenge where we have several community partners come in, their HR department will come and sit down and have a dinner interview with our students where they will be judged on their small talk ability, their presentation, and their ability just to engage community partners and have that conversation going. So that's just a little bit about Everybody Counts and what we do.
Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you, Alicia. And I love all the things because you're exposing them to lots of different pathways. Love the VR, virtual reality opportunities, the guest speakers that you all bring in, the job shadowing opportunities. And I like the etiquette dinner that you mentioned because that is such an important piece, regardless of whatever career a student chooses, is being able to have those opportunities to engage with folks and communicate and know the proper etiquette. We'll circle back to some additional questions about like how you actually advise students in just a minute. But I want to go ahead and move on to Whitney. And if you all have questions for Alicia, please go ahead and start dropping those in the chat. But want to move over to Whitney and hear a little bit about the approach that they're taking in Hart County. And Whitney, you take a school-wide approach to your career day. So I want you to tell us a little bit about what your day looks like and how you're engaging all content areas in strengthening your post-secondary advising culture in your building.
So I guess it started back in during COVID. We were using juniors, and we would take juniors off site and kind of do some work skills type trainings with them, talking about resumes. And then, of course, COVID happened, and so we were trying to approach this and realize that it would be easier if we just went whole school. So, what we do now is we involve our entire building, and one day in November, we take our all of our core classes because all of our students have core classes. So, like my English department will take care of um, applications and resumes, and I break it apart by grade level because I feel like at different grades, kids need different things. For instance, my
Right.
freshmen have never seen a job. Most of them haven't seen a job application, so they will just do have a little. The teacher will do a presentation about do's and don'ts of a job application, and then they'll have a sample job application they'll fill out. It's very intriguing how. And the English teacher can kind of take that, like, you need to capitalize this, you need to make sure you know this, you need to start learning your social security number, those kinds of things that are on job applications that our kids don't realize. Like, what is a reference? Who can I use as a reference? And start having those conversations at the freshman level. And then at the sophomore level, we'll have people come in from like managers. And typically, what I have is somebody from McDonald's or Ace Hardware or somewhere where I know our kids are applying for jobs or high school jobs. I'll have somebody from HR come in and talk about applications for those kinds of people. Then our juniors, they'll do resumes and kind of the introductory to resumes. And then our seniors, I'll have somebody come in more of a, Marzetti's or Schubert, something like that from industry, and talk about resumes. I kind of build it just based off of what I think our kids need. My dual credit kids, I've had somebody come in and speak to them about how to write scholarship essays, or my dual credit English. That's what their presentation was this year. My math, they have always kind of done what you should wear to an interview. And so the past 3 years, they had done the math, what you should wear. And they were like, we're kind of getting tired of it. I feel like the kids are getting tired of it. And so this year we kind of changed it up, and they did what I call, it's going to age all of us, but MASH. Everybody remember playing MASH? And so what they did is they picked their top 3 careers. They picked their spouse's top 3 careers, the type of home they wanted, where they were going to live, all of those different things in there. And they played MASH. And then they had to answer interview questions. I made them put, what are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? And things like that. And then they had to answer interview questions based off of that. Like, tell us a little bit about yourself. What is your greatest strength? What is your greatest weakness? And the kids really enjoyed it. And if nothing else, I decided that they needed to at least play MASH once in their lifetime. So it was good. Then there were and then my social studies, it's kind of a modge podge of different things that we need to get done in our building. We talk about college and career readiness in one session. My juniors, they do mock interviews, and it's really just a kind of a drive-by, getting them in front of people that they don't know and have to talk about themselves. I'm trying to think what else I've done. They're just different little tidbits in the day that all of my core teachers are focused on something career related, whatever that is. One of my Spanish, I've run a dual credit. And so we have a lot of kids that take dual credit within our building, and Spanish is pre-college curriculum. So that's where we're going to hit most of our college going students. And my gifted and talented teacher comes in and she talks about how those credits transfer. And so she does kind of a transfer equivalency session. And it's really important for our students to understand that, we partner with Campbellsville in-house, and then they do our in-house. We have WKU online. We have students that go to WKU through their early college program. But we may have kids that want to go to UK, and how do those credits that they're earning here, how do they transfer, and are they taking dual credits that are truly that they truly need, and that they're not taking sociology and psychology, and having those conversations with those kids. And so that's, I feel like, is an important session for those kids to understand and have that conversation. So they do that in their core classes, and then my electives, because those are all, a lot of times they'll be 10th, 11th, and 12th grade. They'll all be mixed in. So we just kind of run them on regular schedule. Then I host a second day, and we have like a booth set up in the gym, and then everybody gets to rotate through that with different careers. And that is focused mainly on careers. The kind of keep post-secondary colleges out, because we do a lot of other college things. We go to a lot of college fairs and college tours, mainly just focusing on careers and short-term training programs. So, having people there doing demonstrations and different things like that is kind of how we've ran it. And it's worked really well. I think the kids really like it. And over the 4 years, I feel like they're getting everything they need, regardless of what they want to go into.
Perfect. Thank you. I love how you all are taking a school-wide approach, because one of the things that we've been trying to, really express the need for throughout the work of the Kentucky Advising Academy is that school-wide effort in post-secondary advising. It's not something that should fall on the shoulders of one person, but it really does take a village. And so I love the fact that you're involving all the folks in post-secondary advising activities. So really quickly, because we do have still a lot more to cover, but I want to just touch on Whitney, you mentioned that your school does one-on-one advising, and then Alicia, you mentioned that Everybody Counts schools do one-on-one advising as well. So I have a couple of specific questions, and then again, anybody in the audience that has questions, feel free to drop those in the chat. What does one-on-one advising look like at your school, Whitney? So who are serving as advisors? Who are the folks that are taking care of that? So are you bringing in stakeholders from the community? Is it just local? Or, is it just teachers from your building? Is it the counseling staff? How does that look like?
So we do one-on-one scheduling, and I would assume I would call those mini advising sessions. We're talking to them about like their scheduling and their course requests, and the way we do that is the last 2 years, and it's worked really well. We've actually almost got everybody scheduled this year for the next school year. We, as a staff, as an administrative staff, have decided that we're going to just set aside a day, and we pick days. And what we do is, like for freshmen, we pick a day, and everybody clears their calendar and says everybody's going to schedule and do course requests on this day. And we use retired teachers. We use retired high school teachers, because they understand how high school works. And if you are not in high school, it's really hard to train people how high school works. But we use me. We have 2 guidance counselors, 3 principals, our librarian, retired teachers. And basically what we do is we set up tables outside of a classroom, and we just rotate them through. And as they are coming, as we finish with one, we do the next one. We do a transcript review with every student. We're looking at their transcript, seeing what they're still lacking, what if they're passing everything. We're having conversations with kids of, look, you're failing Algebra 1. Do you understand that that is a graduation requirement? You're not going to get this welding class that you want next year, because you're going to be taking Algebra 1 again. And having those conversations, it starts the summer school conversation. It starts all of those conversations of, you've got to have this credit. And so we do that with freshmen. I think we ended up with about 15 or 20 that we didn't get. The next day we went to sophomores. We sat down and we did sophomores the same way. We sat outside of a classroom, and we just rotate them in and out. with probably 7 or 8 people. And we have our assistant superintendent is a former high school principal, so he comes over and helps. So we have a pretty good little group of people that understand that. Juniors are a little harder because there are so many options for a senior. So and we don't typically let as many people schedule them because there are so many options. Um, and juniors usually take us about 3 days to do, but it's still the same process. We're still clearing our schedule and saying this is what we're going to do. Because what we found is before that we were just dividing it up and trying to find it and trying to find time in the day, and we never. There's always something else to do, and so we were at the end of the year trying to schedule and trying to have those one-on-one conversations, and it just we were pulling them in at the very last minute and trying to get them done. So devoting that day, we kind of call it scheduling blitz and doing that. We also schedule sometimes after school that if parents want to come in, we did that back in January. We had like 4 days and we set time slots if people wanted to sign up and do that. So that gave parents an opportunity to come in if they wanted to. So
I love that involving the families. That's always an important piece. So, Alicia, you mentioned that your schools do one-on-one advising too. Along the same lines, what does this process look like for your schools? I know Everybody Counts coaches are there to help with advising. Are they serving as the sole advisor, or are other stakeholders being utilized? So how is how is a capacity being built to serve as advisors?
Absolutely, great question. So, currently, our college and career coaches are our main advisors that go into the school, and are there as an extended support for the school admin. So we would collaborate with them, of course, not taking students out of core classes, coming on their, school or senior seminar days or senior days. And we can even do one-on-one or group facilitated workshops, that we come in and assist the student on their ILP, their individual learning plan, whatever connections need to be made, to get them to that next point of success. That's where we help with. We utilize Pathful a lot as well, which is, our online platform that a lot of our schools and our counties are using, that literally if a student wants to be a conductor, we can get on there and show them a video of a conductor day in the life, ask them those specific educational questions, help them prepare for that particular plan. But as it pertains to one-on-one sessions in the school, we have an array of students that we see from alternative schools, as I said, to our pre-ed students as well. So we have to be very flexible with our scheduling. So to Whitney's point, we offer after school one-on-one sessions. We're noticing a lot this year that we believe in the holistic approach. So a lot of our families, a lot of the guardians of our students are wanting to see if there's any other resources that can help them as well, because they're seeing how much support their student is getting from Everybody Counts as well. One of the things that I would say as well, that we do in those one-on-one sessions, is we really hone in on pre and post assessments, what it is that that student is in dire need of in that particular moment. So again, as I said before, we are definitely connectors, ensuring that they have not just the post-secondary skills and the career readiness, but also have the emotional intelligence. If we need to connect them to a mental health therapist, we do that. If mom and dad are needing assistance with finding a job, we do that as well. Again, we're not a program, we're an initiative, so one of the things that we pride ourselves on is being able to work with the students, not just their junior and senior year, but the year after as well, to ensure that that transition is as seamless as possible. One of the great things that we do is we also work with student athletes. So really being able to show them life after their chosen sport has been phenomenal in allowing them to know the regulations and things that they can and cannot do, how to prepare, and getting them partnered with community partners as well. So it's really been an amazing opportunity. One of the things that I would like to highlight is in our Scott County, one of the things for our more rural areas is we're very intentional on our demographic. So a lot of our students there in that particular county, that's the first time they're first generation students. So the first time that they're even thinking about going to college, or their first person in in their family to go to college. So we created a club for them. And what we do is we have specific um employers from the community come in to the club after school and talk to them, not just about what it's like to work at that job, but any barriers that may come up when trying to work in this job, how to work through that. So we're very intentional in our sessions and giving students what they need to succeed to that next point.
Perfect. Thank you. I love it. There's so many layers to post-secondary advising, and I have lots of questions, but obviously we are on a time crunch. So I want to thank you two ladies for sharing the things that you all are doing. We will reach out with questions if anybody has questions. Jessica Fletcher is with KY Stats, and she has 20 years of experience. And Jessica, I'm going to cut your bio short so that you can dive right in, but we are excited because she's done so many things with KY Stats and her work, and she's going to bring you an exciting website that pairs wonderfully with the Kentucky Post-Secondary Advising Framework. Jessica, because we are running short, I do want to say that I will not be sharing the additional KAA resources. I will send those in a follow-up email to all the folks. So at the end of Jessica's presentation, we will quickly share the evaluation QR, and if we run out of time for that, we'll send that in an email. But go ahead, Jessica. We're excited to hear about Futurity.
Thanks. I will try to go as quickly as I can.
No,
so
you've
we
got
have
plenty of time. You've got plenty of
Okay.
time. Yeah.
Just want to have a little time for questions and conversations, because so many things that the other presenters have touched on are things that we intentionally tried to work into Futurity, which is what we're calling Kentucky's new college and career access platform. It is an open website available at futurity.org that was created to help students of all ages. So we're including middle schoolers all the way up through people well into their adulthood, trying to figure out what kind of jobs and career pathways they want to embark upon, and what kind of things that they need to study to get those careers that they want. So you can click on futurity.org. You can scan this QR code and kind of look around yourself. I'm going to do a quick demo of some of the highlights of the website. And just kind of talk through what we've tried to do here. But our main goal in this was not just to reinvent the wheel, because Kentucky has so many resources that are already available, but they're not connected. So if you are a 10th grade student and you're just trying to figure out what your interests are, where you want to go, there are a lot of resources out there, but you kind of have to be working with a counselor or know great Google searches in order to get you to all of these places. Um, you know, Kentucky has things like the Students' Right to Know, which was a transparency dashboard that KY Stats built in partnership with the Council on Post-Secondary a couple of years ago. And it shows public university data about different career paths and what the outcomes are for those um, major programs after students graduate. We also have things like KIA, which connect you to financial aid resources. And of course, all of this leads to filling out your federal financial aid application so you can figure out what kind of federal financial aid you may qualify for. So lots and lots of resources, but having the opportunity to work one-on-one with a counselor isn't something that students in all Kentucky schools have. We know there are different, in some schools, you might have one counselor who is serving 1,000 students. So we really wanted to create a platform that would sort of help counselors kind of speed through what they need to do, because they can point students to this one place, so they can serve as many kids as possible. Um, so Futurity is kind of divided into 3 sections. So it helps students understand what their career path will be. It connects them to career quizzes, aptitude tests, and helps familiarize them with some of the high demand career sectors that Kentucky has. But the biggest part of that choose your career path section is our Future Finder database, which I'll show you in just a second. But that will link you to more than 700 career descriptions, wage information, and also shows you which colleges and universities offer programs in relationship to those careers. The continue your education section is more about finding where you will train for the career you want. So it links you to those financial aid resources, maps to where all of the colleges and universities are in the state, and then helps you plan your education and training experiences. And then finally, the Start Your Career bucket is really about finding open jobs. So it links to the Kentucky Career Center. It provides resume and interview tips, and also gives you a look at what's in demand on the regional level. So helps you think of what high demand jobs are in far eastern Kentucky might be very different from far western Kentucky. So it allows students to kind of understand what that regional demand looks like, and helps them think about some of the jobs that are going to be in high demand for many years to come wherever they live. So this is what the Future Finder looks like. It kind of helps students by, you can type in the name of the career that you're looking for. You can sort those careers by salary level, by demand level, or by the level of education that is required for those jobs. Just going to quickly walk through those tabs. So starting with high school career pathways, we were really excited about the ability to have students be able to type in the high school that they're attending, or the associated technical school that works with that high school, so that they can see what industry sectors and career pathways are available on a school by school basis. From there, you can also look at individual careers. So you see the job description, you see the early to experienced wage range, and then you see your projected employment from through the year 2032. And then you also see schools that offer related majors. So this includes all public and private universities in Kentucky. And then from there, you can also compare side by side different careers. So I think you could compare up to 4 and see sort of the differences in projected employment, or the difference in educational level required. This is the college view. It shows some basic financial aid information. So your costs each year after grants and scholarships are factored in, the average loan debt after graduation for the school, but also links you to both the school's website and the school's admissions page. This is the major view. So if you are looking at a specific major at a university, you're going to see information about loan debt and percentage of graduates employed after they complete the program. Um, there is some data limitations here, because, if a program has a small amount of students enrolled, you're not always going to be able to see the data attached to it because of data privacy issues. But for the most part, you will see your median income 5 years after completion, and the percentage of graduates employed in this major view. We also really wanted to help people understand which sectors are in high demand in Kentucky right now. So these are the 5 in-demand sectors in the state that the Kentucky Workforce Innovation Board just reclassified a couple of months ago. So you'll see that it includes careers in education and careers in scientific and technical services. It does look a little bit different than if you were familiar with the last version of these high demand sectors. It did change to include that education sector. So if you were to click on one of those links, and here's a link of the education careers page, you will see examples of some of the high demand careers within that sector. And then if you click on the learn more button within that little widget there, it will eventually take you to the future finder entry for education guidance counselors. Um, Also, there's links to those education and training programs, as well as the paying for education. So, kind of a well-rounded approach to getting you to some of the different points within Futurity, as well as showing you that there are state scholarships available for some of these high demand sectors. We also wanted to include some information about why you should get an education after high school. So this page kind of tells that story. It tells what are the different opportunities after you finish high school. So really trying to tell the story that it's not just about going to college. You can enter the military, you can enter into a skilled trades certification program or an apprenticeship. So really trying to help spell out what post post high school life means for students in Kentucky. And then of course this is how we have mapped out the section about continuing your education from the high school level. So if you go into prepare, you're going to see links to pages about taking career aptitude tests or taking post secondary opportunities. And then of course it takes you all the way through attend, which gets you ready to actually attend classes, helps you prepare for that first semester in college, and helps you also figure out how to apply and decide for whatever opportunity you're looking for. Um, this is the identify your skills and strengths. So you'll see that this page will link you to a lot of outside Futurity resources. Um, but I think it's really important for students to have access to those aptitude tests. We of course didn't have the budget to develop those kind of things, but we wanted students to be able to link to what is available. Um, Here's the paying for your education page. It links to the FAFSA. It links to KIA, so students can calculate how much KEYS money they might have. Or also there's some special links for students who might be in the foster system, and makes them aware that they have some eligible scholarship benefits through the foster program as well. And then finally, this is the start your career section. For the student perspective, it links you to work-based learning, apprenticeships, youth training programs, and also provides information about career pathways for individuals with disabilities. And at the end, gives you tips about how to create your resume or write a cover letter. So that is it in a nutshell. I tried to go really fast. I think I hit it right before 11 a.m. And I know we're slow on time or low on time. So if you have a question and want to drop it in the comment and I don't get to answer it right now, I would be happy to email you. So just let me know if you have any questions or if you would like to set up, we're doing a lot of outreach to districts right now. So if you would like to set up a training for any of your teachers or counselors, we would be glad to come to you and do some trading on Futurity. We're getting a lot of really great interest on this site. So thank you all for your time, and let me know if you have any questions.
Thank you, Jessica. I'm going to share my screen again so that you can, or I hope I am. Can you all see the evaluation QR code? This is the QR code for the evaluation. Thank you, Jessica. Futurity is awesome, and I dropped into the chat. The Kentucky Post-Secondary Advising Framework has the milestones and activities for grades 6 through 12 around post-secondary advising, and the Futurity website will support students in meeting many of those milestones, and those are directly aligned to the ILP too. So watch for more information about how the framework and Futurity can support you in meeting your ILP requirements. There are other things that we wanted to share with you, but we have run out of time, so we will send those in a follow-up email. In order to get your ELA certificate, you do need to complete the evaluation. QR code is on the screen, and the link to complete the ELA is in the chat as well. Thank you all for joining us. We always appreciate you spending time with us, and we look forward to seeing you in March as we support the send-off and make sure that our students are ready for their next chapter. You all have a fabulous day, and we will see you later.
Bye, thank you.